poppin', y'all? This is Deidre with One Shot Game, man. You already know how the motto go. You get one shot at life, but a lifetime to learn all the game you need to help improve your life. The choice is yours on which route you choose to take. As I always say, you get two choices: the ability to faithfully settle in the life that has been set out for you, or the ability to pave a path towards your destiny. That choice is also up to you. So before I get into the title of my video, I want to say a big shout out to all my supporters. You guys are great. And even the ones behind the scenes, I see y'all too. So look, before I start recording my video, you guys have to be mindful of the fact that where I'm at is a very quiet, secluded location, but for whatever reason, when you vibrate high on a certain energy frequency, there are people that can sense your energy out like blood, and they will come through doing everything they can to try to get you to give them a reaction because they are feeling imbalanced somewhere in their energy. So they intentionally rev their cars, you know what I'm saying, and drive around where I'm at to, you know what I'm saying, I guess whatever, get a reaction. I don't know why it's like that, particularly on weekends, you know what I'm saying, but they tend to do that everywhere I go. So don't mind if you happen to hear the revving of the cars in the background. You know what I'm saying? I will stop talking and then I will begin again when they leave. You know what I'm saying? So again, the title of this video is going to be on the fact that when you fully step into who you are, things that irritate your nervous system, you know what I'm saying, never go away. I don't care how much you use, you know, material things or whatever you've used in your life to bypass the fact of who you really are in the soul. Currently, right now, in this period of life that we're in, if you do not figure out how to heal your nervous system, you will be triggered, you know what I'm saying, by things that still bother you in the soul, you know what I'm saying. And I'm just speaking from experience because I'm just now getting to a point where there are certain things, like my reaction, you feel me, to certain things is not the same like how it was in the beginning, you know what I'm saying. Because of me being a sensitive person, my senses are extremely sensitive, you know what I'm saying, in the beginning. So every little noise, every little thing, every little look, every little, you know what I'm saying, basically energy attack or anything that I can just feel that was abnormal would, you know what I'm saying, get me to give a reaction, which was what it was intended to do, you know what I'm saying. But over time of me healing and really having the time to focus on myself, you know what I'm saying, I've noticed about myself is the fact that certain things do not trigger me, you know what I'm saying. Like, for instance, being vulnerable, you know what I'm saying. When I was a little kid, I used to be extremely petrified of dark spaces and automatic toilets. As weird as it may sound, you know what I'm saying, that was me, you know what I'm saying. Call it what you want, call me a weirdo, I don't really give a damn, you know what I'm saying. But for whatever reason, I cannot fathom the fact of a toilet flushing by itself without my approval and then being so goddamn loud. I would have to plug my ears because it would just happen out of nowhere and it would irritate my senses so bad, you know what I'm saying, to where I was like, oh my God. And then extremely dark spaces, you know what I'm saying, would make me feel a certain type of way because it was the unknown, you know what I'm saying. But being adjusted to certain sounds now is, I feel like, a key factor in me being able to understand who I am, because there are people in the world right now currently that intentionally do things to get a reaction out of you to throw your nervous system off because theirs is all out of alignment. And if they can get yours to be out of alignment, that means you're not ready to fully own who you are. You know what I'm saying? And listen, that goes through a series of tests, and it takes time. It's not something you can do overnight. You know what I'm saying? It takes you constantly, repeatedly being tested so you can balance out your nervous system. And I feel like, personally, for me, one of those tests was today. The way I operated in it, you know what I'm saying, was as if nothing was going on around me. You know what I'm saying? I looked like the only one in the group that was not affected by the shenanigans that was going on. You know what I'm saying? And being able to understand who you are means you have to have the confidence to come behind it and stand in your power. You know what I'm saying? That means that no one else is able to penetrate your energetic field of who you are, because being authentic means you own that and nobody else does. You know what I'm saying? But again, when people do not know who they are, they'll intentionally design crafted energetic setups to penetrate your identity so that you don't believe you are who you are. And they can steal that from you and own it. You know what I'm saying? You got to think of it like this. It's an energetic competition going on. It's really not no competition. You know what I'm saying? Because really, I'm only a person that is being better than I was yesterday. But energetically, it's a competition going on. But it's something that you have to be able to pay attention to, because it'll happen publicly in plain sight in a setting where everybody knows what's going on except for the people that is not in their right mind. Like, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's kind of like the way the attack is set up. I know it had to be pre-planned. I know it was set up and designed like that intentionally on purpose to try to throw your head off the swivel. You know what I'm saying? But if you're someone that is still trying to get a hold of yourself, or you're, as I call it, in spiritual mania, you don't know who you are because you're in different spiritual realms, you won't even realize what's going on. What you'll start to do is get upset because you think that what's going on is a personal attack towards you. And this is just someone speaking from experience. I had to go through those phases in my life. You know what I'm saying? Because of me knowing who I am and the type of person that I am, and you know what I'm saying, how deep I care about people, I felt like I was being targeted. You know what I'm saying? I felt like it was only me who was being personally attacked every single time. Everywhere I go, every time I just crafted a route for basic survival, it was tested, you know what I'm saying, in a way where it's going to test your nervous system. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like you can look at it one or two ways, depending on if you're healing or not. And for me, actually putting in the work to heal, you know what I'm saying, is a blessing, because certain noises do not affect me at all. You know what I'm saying? I'm completely oblivious to the chaos that's going on around me, because you can get easily distracted by it. By, again, like I said, people who are in spiritual mania, they don't know who they are, so they'll cause a whole scene to get a reaction and get what they want out of whoever feeds into it. So you have to be able to have such of a high energetic field that you're able to block that out. Otherwise, they'll cause scenes on purpose just to get your attention. You know what I'm saying? And this is just going through experience. I realized on a bigger scale of being in a relationship or being around someone that I love, like how they would cause scenes and chaos in my life intentionally on purpose, when I got to a point where I was feeding into myself and I wasn't feeding into them. It was almost as if they craftedly would set up a plan of attack to intentionally get me to react, because they need my energy to feed off of. You know what I'm saying? And I'm living my life to where I'm focusing on myself and no longer pouring into them, and they're feeling some type of way. So it has happened on a grand scale. You know what I'm saying? Once you're able to look back on your life and look at scenarios, you'll be able to like understand why some people reacted and did the things that they did to you, even though you didn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? It was simply because you were getting to a point where you were focusing too much on yourself. And when you focus on yourself, you had the ability to become more stronger in who you are, especially to people that already knew how strong you were. So their intention is to set up any plan by using a weakness that they studied about you and attack it to get you to react. So therefore, they can get the energy they need from you to be able to survive. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy how this world operates, because it's almost as if the very thing that drains your supply of energy is also the very thing that needs it. It's complicated, but it's real. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost as if it's a push and pull type of thing. You know what I'm saying? You just have to know yourself enough to know when to pull back. You know what I'm saying? And when to dive in. Because if you don't, you're going to allow yourself to get pulled too much in one direction. You know what I'm saying? And that could ultimately hurt you in some type of way. You know what I'm saying? So realizing and understanding the full capacity of your power means that if you're someone that doesn't like to be outside in the public because every little thing makes you jump, or every little thing triggers your sensitivity, it's because you're still healing. It's because you're still haven't healed some of the things that makes your nervous system nervous. So it may tempt you to stay in the house and not be exposed to outside, because you don't want to, you know what I'm saying, cause a reaction where it can throw you off balance. You know what I'm saying? Let me give you an example. So prior to like the first year when I first came home from being incarcerated, I had took my baby to just do all type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like try to establish that bond between me and her, you know? And so I took her to this like rock climbing place. You know what I'm saying? In Rockland. But she was too little to climb, but on the way there, you know what I'm saying, she was quiet in the back, and then she was like, "Oh, Mom, look," and scared the fucking daylight shit out of me. And I got upset because I'm like, "Listen, what are you yelling for? Why are you yelling?" You know what I'm saying? And she was like, "Oh, sorry, sorry." And I just feel like you have to be mindful and really knowing yourself, because I felt like that was intentional. You know what I'm saying? People will do stuff intentionally. Like, think about doing things to you intentionally because it's either too quiet, you're not focused on them, they need the attention, ain't nobody talking, you know what I'm saying? They don't feel comfortable in silence, so they will intentionally do things to rattle your nervous system and then apologize for it. You know what I'm saying? But by that time, you had already gave them the reaction that they needed. These people are very highly skilled at what they do. You know what I'm saying? So again, being able to be wise enough to understand that right now the current state of energy that we are in is a lot of people experiencing spiritual mania, and a lot of people settling into knowing who they are. You know what I'm saying? But the ones that are upset and I wouldn't say upset, but agitated that these people have stepped into their power, because their mission was to make sure certain groups of people never understood their power, and they siphoned it, became rich off of it, have everything in life that they can dream of. You know what I'm saying? And then the people that it originally belonged to, they're suffering, they're going through it. You know what I'm saying? And it was set up and designed like that, intentionally, on purpose. So the moment these people woken up to who they are, and you know what I'm saying, they're allowed to be tested in a way where they're not bothered, you feel me, they grow powerful every day. The scales will be tipped. You know what I'm saying? And everybody that used those people's power to have things in life will now have to go through experiencing their sensitivity and healing. You know what I'm saying? And these people will be able to survive and live how they're supposed to live, which is crazy, but it's been like that for a long time. It's just less information you know about who you are, the better. You feel me? Because you'll never be able to tap in truthfully to who you are. And then the people around you that knew who you were set up and designed to have a certain system to personally attack you. You feel me? To keep you in a certain mindset. You know what I'm saying? That's probably why a lot of them are quieter than the bee right now, because they know exactly the part they played in it. All of them. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you get to the peak of it, which I feel like was like 2022, 2023. You know what I'm saying? That's where you started to see people's true colors. You know what I'm saying? Everybody around me, for example, You feel me? I started to see their true colors, and I was like, God damn, this is really life, huh? You know what I'm saying? But the whole time I was thinking that, you feel me, these people were the assets to my life. And again, they are, in a way. You know what I'm saying? You got to think about it in a way spiritually, where maybe physically they may not be able to be around you, but their energy is a key component in your life. You know what I'm saying? It's like a push and pull, a tug of war type of thing. You know what I'm saying? They don't like that you're standing in your power because they want it. But at the same time, the more you pull away and you never come back, they lose power. So they struggle with that. So they'll test you. They'll try to keep you in locations for longer than you need to be because they don't want to let you go. It's like being in a relationship. If I can't have you, nobody can. You know what I'm saying? And once I started to realize the reality of the world, once you start to understand the real world in the energy, in the spiritual realm, and not just the physical one, which has all type of illusions, you get to see people for who they really are for real. You know what I'm saying? And it makes you look at them different, because you'll be awakened to feeling as if like people never showed you no love intentionally on purpose, and that was truthful, because they knew that if they fed into you and pushed you to be who you were, you feel me, you would glow up and be more powerful than them. And when people are sitting in power, you feel me, they don't want it to be stripped from them, especially ones who got it illegally. And I'm talking about the people that didn't do any healing, you know what I'm saying, that pushed their trauma and wounds to the back and basically siphon good energy for other people. And what I mean by that is they use people who were genuinely kind-hearted and kind, and they siphon their energy by wearing a mask in their face and engaging in conversation that's stupid, that don't make no sense. And those people were never pouring into you. They just put on a mask to make you think that they were. And since you didn't never truly really know yourself, you were easily fooled. You know what I'm saying? And energy was siphoned just like that. And these people walked around forming connections and being in boss positions, you feel me, by siphoning the energy of people who didn't quite yet know who they were. You know what I'm saying? It was a system designed like that, intentionally on purpose. You feel me? So listen, there are people in the world right now that have extremely sensitive nervous systems. You know what I'm saying? And then there are people that are in spiritual mania, which means they have the ability to understand that these people are sensitive. So when they don't get their way, or when no one is feeding into them and no one's pouring into them as far as attention, they'll craftedly set up scenarios where it may look like somebody is doing something to them and really ain't nobody did shit to them. It's just a planned attack to try to upset your nervous system. And anybody who's not working on healing will instantly feel some type of way, like that person is talking about you, or that person is identifying with your life. Whole time this person is talking to an imaginary person. They ain't even talking to nobody real, because they really don't want no problems. It's all in their head. You know what I'm saying? So really, you have to really get to a point and place in your life where you concentrate on healing. It's very important. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, again, like I said, there will be people out here that are set up and designed and sent to throw people who are very spiritually in tuned off their path, because what was once in power is not going to be in power like that anymore. And the ones that were drained of their power will actually be able to sit in their power. And those people, they can't fathom that, especially if they don't know how to work together with people who know who they are, because they don't know who they are. That's extremely difficult and hard for them. You know what I'm saying? So again, they're sent to like battle test you. You feel me? They have agents, they have people that work for them, people that, you know what I'm saying, can be standing by you, behind you in the grocery store, this way or that way, you feel me, that will intentionally do things, you feel me, to try to upset your nervous system and cause a reaction. And you got to think about it. When you get a reaction in your system because of somebody intentionally inflicting harm to you, you think about it for a minute because it really bothers you. But when you have managed to heal, those things don't make you react like they used to in the past, coming from someone who used to be overly sensitive. So it almost startles these people because they don't know what else to do. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? But they're fully aware of being able to understand that you being fully balanced in your nervous system is what helps you gain insight that they're otherwise not available to have, and it kind of makes them upset. So again, like I said, you'll hear a whole ton of motorcycles, a ton of loud cars, anything just to be loud to throw you off your nervous system. The ability to start conversations and be seen when things are too quiet, because people are fully aware and know that that's where vital information is received. You know what I'm saying? So me possibly having alone time by myself is like foreign, but I have to find it. You feel me? Because it's beneficial for me. But again, when it's a targeted attack set up, because these people knew, you know what I'm saying, what you could be able to do with your mind, they intentionally made it to where you would never have that time and space by yourself. You feel me? You basically thrown into the woods with the bears. You know what I'm saying? But it's all a method of survival as well. You know what I'm saying? To see how you would react in certain scenarios is also a test. You got to think, because having a certain way of thinking, which is what I would call neurodivergent, has to be tested. You know what I'm saying? And there oftentimes are people watching to study your mind to see how it operates and works. You feel me? So therefore, for the next group of people, you feel me, they'll know how their mind work, and it's either going to be a test of, are you going to sink or swim? You know what I'm saying? Because again, there's always people searching and hunting for power. You know what I'm saying? That want it so bad that will do anything necessary to get it. You feel me? So heal. You know what I'm saying? The more you heal, the more unfrightened your nervous system becomes. Because when you're living in the world where you can now see the things that have been hidden for so long, your nervous system will be tested every day. And if you're scared, you probably should go to church. You know what I'm saying? But in this life we live in right now, you can't be scared. You feel me? Because when they know that as being one of your weaknesses, they will test it. You know what I'm saying? So listen, if you don't know what it is, I just told you. Please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe.